My name is Robert Christopher Wayne Weathers. I live at 3102 Center Hill Road, Acre, Mississippi, 38841. I am still under attack by Scientology. So let me explain what Scientology is. There are more than 3 dimensions. This is a fact. There are 12 dimensions in total. These dimensions show up on the inside of the matter that creates this universe. Uh, they call this place the inverse. So there are 12 dimensions. We have biology in these extra dimensions attached to us. 12-dimensional organs and tissues attached to us. We utilize this biology first while we are alive. Everything we do requires extra dimensional biology to sleep, to think, to consume, to have sexual intercourse, to feel nervous tissue, PPT. Almost everything we do requires extra dimensional biology. So that's how we use it firstly. And then secondly, we use this extra dimensional biology to have an afterlife. The human genome produces a 12-dimensional humanoid designed to live in outer space. We can fly. We have a head covering that has 2 horns. Our skin glows, our eyes glow. We breathe fire. Well, we can do magic. We can move particles around with our mind. We are Anunnaki, Anunnaki. That is the human bloodline and the human afterlife experience. We are Anunnaki. Humans are. So Scientology is the practice of utilizing this extra dimensional biology before they die. They remove it from themselves, and they use technology and techniques to turn them into upper dimensional vehicles, biologies in which they can drive through the upper dimensions, also known as aliens. And they look alien in appearance. So there are various alien forms. Some people drive their Anunnaki form, they have horns. Some people drive a blue blood form. They create a blue blood form. There are green aliens, grays, browns, whites. And then they use donor organs and tissues from other species and other humans to complete their extra dimensional biologies to make them whole. So they take organs and tissues from other species such as reptiles, insects or bugs, and worms. They make reptoids or lizard people using lizard body parts. They make insectoids or bug people using bug body parts. And they make worm people using worm body parts. So this is what Scientology is. Utilizing your extra dimensional biology before you die, driving it around. They do this with Neurotech. They put technology inside of their brain. This allows them to see into the extra dimensions and to utilize their extra dimensional biology. So there are humans on Earth at this very moment driving aliens through the upper dimensions on Earth. There are a group of people driving aliens onto my location, and they use these aliens to harm me and my family. So they drive their aliens onto my home, and they use these aliens to harm me and my family. So this technology gives them the ability to drive other organisms that are not their own. They can drive humans, animals, insects, and worms in any dimension. So they are using this technology to drive worms through my body, parasites, big worms with teeth. And they use these worms as weapons. They call this practice war tech. Parasites utilized as a weapon. So this all started for me over 13 years ago, almost 14 years ago. Uh, I was a political activist on social media. I participate in politics, also at a lot of debates about politics, environmental issues, even religious issues. I also write literature, so I'm an author. I am part Native American. My Native American name is Crazy Bird. I'm a descendant of Lakota people. Some people through social media decided to practice Scientology on me. They were civilians. So they installed technology in my brain, which allowed them to read my thoughts. They seen value in reading my thoughts. And this technology also gives them the ability to see through your sensory perception organs. So they can see what you see, hear what you hear, smell what you hear, taste what you taste, feel what you feel. It's part of their hive mind technology. I don't know, they installed devices. They started communicating with me using social media platforms such as Facebook. And it was apparent that they were invading my privacy. Then more people came. Uh, some of these people were in the government, and they assimilated me into a hive mind. I started hearing voices and seeing things. They told me they had found a device. But some of these people in Scientology, some of these people in this hive mind are hostile. They started threatening me right off the bat. They were extremely hostile. They berated me. They were demeaning. So then they turned the hive mind technology off, but they left it one way. They could still read my thoughts and see into my environment, but I couldn't no longer see them. They started stealing intellectual property, intellectual content, the things that I was working on, my studies in science and philosophy, and my literature. I fell ill. I started going to the hospital. I could feel things stuck inside of me, inside of my ear, my brain, my face. My whole face swelled up and I developed a lazy eye. I started going to the hospital, having x-rays done. Then one day the hive mind technology turned back on and they added more devices, more technology. I started to see things and hear things again. They started taking my extra dimensional biology. It started with brain tissue. They cut parts of my brain out and used it for surrogate making purposes. So they cut parts of my brain out and used it on their own alien forms. Used it to create an alien so they could drive it around. They tried to harness or harvest my intelligence, my intellectual abilities, my ability to create, to write literature, to think, to process information. They tried to put it on another human being or another organism that they could drive. They didn't stop. They took my sexual organs, my other organs and tissues. They call them my Nunnakai organs. We have extra dimensional biology. So we have whole nother organs and tissues in these upper dimensions that you can't see in the third dimension. Big organs and tissues. Like we have a whole nother frontal lobe in the upper dimensions. It's an upper dimensional brain tissue that sits. It's like we have extra brain tissue. Appendages, features. They started stealing my extra dimensional biology. First to use as transplants. So they wanted to use my extra dimensional biology on their own alien forms, to transplant it onto their own alien. Then some of them want to use it for surrogate purposes. So some of my biology is being used for surrogate purposes. And some of it is being used as a torture device. So there's this entanglement property between our third dimension and our extra dimensions. If you remove a piece of extra dimensional biology, no matter where you take it in the universe, you are still in that body part. You still have to experience everything it goes through. So it can act as a voodoo doll. They can take it to a remote location and do things to it, and you have to experience it. They also use this technology as part of their hive mind and command center technology. They take parts of their extra dimensional biology, specifically brain tissue. They take it to facilities on Earth and in outer space that house extra dimensional biology. They insert this biology into a storage system, and inside of this storage system, they interface this biology to a computer system using electrodes, wires, chips, sensors, and devices. And this allows them a remote form of communication. It allows them to interact with each other in a digital landscape. It also acts as a command center so they can drive the rest of their upper dimensional biologies and surrogates. I am sick. So they have removed over 90% of my extra dimensional biology. And they have damaged me in the remaining body parts. Body snatching. So these people belong to companies. They call themselves Preservision and Yumas, and then the Lizard Company. They are extra dimensional businesses, companies. They create aliens. They help people practice Scientology, which is the act of utilizing your extra dimensional biology, the worship of aliens. It's the creation of aliens. Scientologists have created the aliens. Dead people go into outer space. They don't eat meat. They don't eat humans. Our mouth features change in the upper dimensions. We have flaps, cheek flaps, and extra organs and tissues inside of our mouth that stop us from eating things we go from eating things on Earth to just breathing. They call it breathing the nether. There is particles in outer space that we consume and survive off of. So they have possession of my extra dimensional biology. Some of my extra dimensional brain tissue is at their facilities. They have it installed into the storage system. I am hooked into a computer system. They can read my thoughts. They are doing this to steal intellectual property and to make money. Other Scientologists have paid these people for a seat to my phone service to be able to read my thoughts and to steal ideas and intellectual content and to just see how I think. They have turned me into a commodity and have tried to sell me. So these Scientologists are going to use their ties to the government. And some of these people are in government. And they're going to try to say I've done something wrong that somehow justified what they have done to me. It's a lie. Scientology kidnapped me. The civilian side. Civilians kidnapped me using Scientology, and so did the government. They're all in one hive mind. The government let them. Yes, there's a conflict of interest. I've seen these people murder people, torture, rape, mutilate, dissect, experiment, send people to hell, torture. They try to control people. They put technology into people's brains uh, to read thoughts. If you're a person of interest to these people, such as police officers or government agents, the CIA, the FBI, the military, the Department of Justice, they may install technology inside of your brain or steal body parts, brain tissue, just to try to read your thoughts so they can act accordingly. They turn people into surrogates. So if you're not on their side, if you haven't been assimilated, they may turn you into a surrogate and just drive you around and do it themselves. They kidnap people for sexual purposes, for uh, people of interest. They traffic humans. I'm being assaulted. They are hitting me in the throat with a worm. They are here at my location at this very moment. They won't leave. I do not consent for anyone to be here. This is private property. You are breaking the law. They also make me hear their voices. So I hear their voices, a whole bunch of them. They harass me. They berate me, threaten me. They keep trying to come up with some false narrative in which says that I've done something wrong to justify their criminal behavior against me. They like to rub it in my face, what they're doing to me. They do seances and cultish and religious zealotism, religious type behavior with extra dimensional biology, with my body parts. Like they torture it and send it down holes and lock it out of space time and do obscene things to me and my family. They are making a snuff film. I'm being harassed. One of them said, now I got a government contract. The government uses Scientology's tech, the FBI mainly. They put people under surveillance using Scientology's tech. It's neural tech. Either they have removed extra dimensional biology or they have installed devices in people which allow them to read thoughts and to see into our environments. Marketing companies are also doing this to try to sell us things. They're letting people's thought patterns and The things that are in our environment control our algorithms. The ads we see on the internet and social media, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, they are all using Scientology's tech.